Hello, and welcome to Small Business, Big Life, inside Fort Orange General Store, where entrepreneurship meets marriage, kids, and controlled chaos. I'm Joe Slichko, and with me, as always, is my wife, business partner, and the owner of Fort Orange General Store, Erica Cubello.
Hey, Joe, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, a little under the weather, but that's not going to stop us from doing this podcast.
No, it won't. Like we were just saying, I had it last week. You get it this week.
Thank you for that, most likely.
That's love.
It is. So in today's episode, we are going to discuss the hot chocolate stroll of 2025 and what that looked like from both the business end as well as the relationship and family end. But before we get there, we're going to ask our listeners to please not forget to like or subscribe wherever you may listen. It really helps us grow the show, reach more people, and make sure you care about all these ridiculous stories that we're telling. And we would also like to give a huge thank you to all of our listeners. And I say that because the response to our launch of episode 1 of this podcast has been mind-blowing, over the top, amazing, more than we ever thought, hoped, dreamed, or expected. So thank you all for listening and validating what it is that we're doing here.
Yeah, it really has. It's been so overwhelming in the most positive way to see the love and positive response, like Joe just said, from everybody. It really means the world to us and makes us feel like our little idea wasn't so crazy after all.
Which kind of is the theme of the podcast. Here are all our crazy little ideas. Let's validate them. So, having said that, here we are, episode 2. And we want to focus on the story of the hot chocolate stroll. Can you give our listeners a little recap or background information, I should say, on what is the hot chocolate stroll in Albany?
Yeah, of course. So, Joe, the hot chocolate stroll takes place every December for the past 6 Decembers in the beginning of the month. And it is put on by the Albany BID, the Business Improvement District of downtown Albany. And all the businesses downtown are encouraged to participate by creating their own version of the classic winter drink of hot cocoa. And the BID puts out a map for all of the participants. I think there were over 20 businesses that participated this year. And so everybody who buys a ticket, and this year it sold out early, over 830 people gathered together downtown Albany and followed this map around to all the participating businesses who serve their version of hot cocoa. And a lot of businesses will also do a shopping deal or a percentage off, and the participants of the stroll walk around to not only taste the different hot cocos, but also vote on their favorite and enjoy some sort of shopping special.
Great. Thank you for that recap of the hot chocolate stroll. Now, what has the historic role of Fort Orange General Store been in the hot chocolate stroll prior to 2025?
Well, we have always done either a shopping deal, like spend a certain percentage and receive a gift, or a percentage off your total purchase.
Great. However, Erica did not think that was sufficient for 2025. Did you, Erica?
Well, no, I didn't, because the first year that we owned the store in 2024, and mind you, we were only business owners for about 2 weeks before this like massive event that the downtown BID puts on every year. Like I said, for the past 6 years. So we were getting a lot of customers that were coming in asking where our hot chocolate was, where they could get a sample. And I don't know if you remember when we were taking part in the actual stroll, I got these frantic messages from our employees like, where's our hot cocoa? What are we serving? People are coming in looking for this. And we were only listed as a participating business doing a shopping deal. We weren't listed on the map as a drinkable spot. So going into this season, I wanted to change that naturally.
So we decided to partake not only in, the business side of it, the shopping side of it, I should say, but also to hand out and distribute some hot chocolate like the other vendors. Now, for those of you who have not had the opportunity to step foot in Fort Orange General Store, Erica, tell our listeners, do we have a commercial kitchen by chance?
No, we don't.
So what would this entail? What did this entail?
Well, we made it all in our own kitchen. I mean, why not? We have one.
We certainly do have a kitchen. And to expand on that just a little bit, it meant waking up at about 5 a.m, and then somehow figuring out how to transport these 4 massive urns of hot chocolate from our house down to the store.
I know.
Which, to your credit, worked out perfectly.
It was fine. Like I always say, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. That is Erica's tagline. It'll be fine, while Joe is in the corner sweating bullets. But you made it happen.
Well, we both did.
Yes.
I mean, without your planning and overcompensation in the worry department, it all came together just fine.
Thank you. Now, you're kind of making me sound a little ridiculous to our listeners. I'm not going to lie. Perhaps, was there something else going on that we were going to embark on this same day for the hot chocolate stroll?
Well, yes, Joe, there was.
And what was that, Erica?
Well, we decided that it would be a grand idea to not only serve hot chocolate, but also have the most important guest of the holiday season visit Fort Orange.
And that would be?
Well, Santa Claus himself, of course.
Yes. So for the listeners that don't know, one of my first jobs when I was still in high school was I used to work at the mall, the local mall, Colony Center, before it made its transition and makeover way too long ago. I'm dating myself. And I would take pictures for Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, and because of that, I clearly have a close personal relationship with the big guy, as we call him in the biz. Mm-hmm. So we reached out and asked if he would grace us with his presence at the Fort Orange General Store. Now, as you can imagine, he's busy, especially at the beginning of December.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he was not able to come, but he did give me permission to dress as him.
He did.
At the store, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was quite amazing that Joe was granted this special permission by Mr. Claus himself to dress up and greet the little children and our customers and everybody who joined us that day. And let me tell you, Joe took this role very seriously.
Well, you have to take it seriously. The big guy, dons this upon you. You can't just go in willy-nilly and wing it,
No, you did not. And you made him very proud that day.
This is his reputation, after all, that I'm worried about.
Mm-hmm.
So, to review, not only 13 gallons of hot chocolate to be made and transported in the morning, but I'm also, busy getting ready, suit, makeup, all of it for the event.
That's right.
That's why I was a little stressed.
You were. But let's also preface that this part was not my idea. This was 100% your idea.
I'm not so sure that's how I recall it, but for the sake of the podcast, we'll just accept that as we sit here.
So we both had two big ideas, right? In the same first really season for us doing this hot chocolate stroll. So we both had, like I said, two big ideas that we were blending together on the same day. I went with it.
How'd that go, Erica?
It went really well, really well. We had an amazing turnout. Again, the response from our customers, our downtown community was so overwhelming. Like, I remember sitting down with you afterwards and just being like, oh my God, that was incredible. Like, it took us a few days to really process how amazing that day was.
Sure. So let's walk through that day a little bit for people that maybe were unfamiliar with it. So the day itself starts with all 800 plus people who have a ticket meeting at a central location and getting their materials, little gifts, things like that, the map, and then they disperse out and kind of forge their own path,
Right.
although it makes the most sense to kind of go in order from where you start.
Right. And they started up at the Palace Theater this year. So let's say it's about 3/4 of a mile from our location on South Broadway. And so we were given a time frame like, well, the majority of the strollers will hit probably around 1 o'clock. Well, the stroll started at 11, and we were kind of slammed from like 11:15 all the way till about 3:30, and it ended at 3 o'clock. It was just an incredibly awesome day. Like, people were in the store walking around, and it wasn't just like come in, grab your hot cocoa and run. It was people walking around, looking at all the things, just hanging out and enjoying the vibe that our store was putting off that day.
So my point of view of the morning was a little bit different because I was playing a different role. So we got down there really early because of the hot chocolate. And one of the things I was nervous about was blowing all the breakers, plugging in these urns. And we only did that once in the beginning, thankfully. And then I figured out, which outlets were on which breaker, and that worked out fine. And then our employees came in, we got them, squared away, talked about, each one of their roles. And then I had to start, getting dressed, getting my makeup on and doing all the things. So it was probably a little after 11 when I ducked away and started to do that. And at that time, nobody was there yet because we had just opened and the stroll was just kicking off. So I was anxious. It was one of those, if you build it, they will come moments where we're throwing this big party and no one showed up yet. So I was, a little, I'm not going to say panicky, but I don't know. I was feeling the feels. I was a little disappointed, anxious, scared. What if no one comes? All this stuff. And then I think I texted you to come help me with the makeup, and you didn't respond.
I didn't.
And I was like, what is going on? So I actually checked the cameras real quick, and I went, oh my God, the store's filled already. So then it felt absolutely awesome. But that initial, feeling, the waiting period and then having to duck away, I missed that initial crush that you were talking about.
Right. All of that worry and anxiety definitely built a different feel for you that I probably wasn't able to pick up on. I wasn't putting myself in your position at that moment, which I'm sorry about. I think my mindset was focused on getting the store ready, like making sure all of that was set. And then you had this huge weight of making sure that you were playing the role properly and in the best way possible.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you needed to, be in that mindset as I was in that mindset. I was just kind of articulating we're both there on the same day, doing the same thing, but experiencing it in different ways.
Right.
And that can happen in business. That can happen in life. That can happen at home with the kids. I tell a story all the time when I'm, doing professional development that, you can go to a movie with a friend and sit right next to them, as awkward as that is, because if you're watching a movie at your house with someone, you wouldn't sit next to them. You'd have space. But in a movie theater, that's perfectly fine. And you watch the movie and you walk out of the movie, then you start talking about it like, people do. And you start talking about different things that you saw. And you find out that your friend didn't pick up on those things or those details. there you were sitting in front of the same movie, the same screen, nothing else going on, but you're picking up different things. And that happens in life altogether. So I think this was one of those moments where we're both on the outside doing the same thing, but inwardly, because of the roles we're playing, receiving the information in different ways.
That's a really good point. I like that analogy. Thank you for that, Joe.
You're welcome. That's one of my favorites. All right. So people are in the store. Santa Claus comes out. You're my handler.
I was definitely assigned. Yes, I had very specific instructions that I was not to leave your side at any point while you were on the floor. I had to be right there in case of any little tiny failure was to occur. Like, beard gets pulled by a little one, like maybe Joe's hair is popping out from the side, like anything. I had to be focused on you.
Actually, you had to be focused on Santa, who we were representing. Thank you very much.
You're right. I had to be focused on Santa.
So people start coming in and we're interacting with them and it's going well. I think we should take a step back and talk about the night or two before the hot chocolate stroll, when I decided to do my little dress rehearsal at home.
Oh, yes. Good
Put
story.
the suit on, make sure everything fit, make sure, the makeup that we bought was appropriate and things like that. So
yeah, and this is kind of a precursor to a lot of what happened that day that we should have anticipated, but we didn't, because we grew up with such a fondness of this person that we didn't take a step back and look at what was really happening in front of us. So Joe really wanted to perfect the role as we put forward. He took a couple of dress rehearsals at home, putting on the suit, putting on the fat suit, because he insisted that there be a fat suit with it.
I actually said preemptively, if you order this suit without a fat suit, that is going to insinuate something, and I'm not going to be able to bounce back from that.
So we got the whole thing, okay? And then we added in the white makeup for your beard and, the bottom of your hairline. Like, it was perfected, but only through these dress rehearsals. And in these couple of times at home, we had to walk this delicate balance of how do we talk to the kids about Santa Claus and Joe dressing up as him, and, how does that make sense to everybody?
So we told the story that we started this podcast with, how he, wasn't available, but because of my connection with him, we were given permission. So
he felt comfortable letting you play the role.
Exactly.
Yep.
So there we are at night. I'm in our bathroom. I get all dressed and everything. You're out there making dinner. Boys are playing, doing whatever. And then I come out in the suit, all dressed up. What was the reaction?
Well, it wasn't received so positively.
Do describe.
Well, our two older boys thought it was really cool. Like, they were into it. But our youngest was very frightened. He did not like you at all. And he loves Joe. Like, Joe is his favorite person. Big hugs, kisses, like. And so when he saw you dressed up as Santa, he wouldn't talk to you. He wouldn't look at you. He was totally upset.
That's true. It was a little heartbreaking, to be honest. But we talked it through, everything. Once I got undressed, he was back to normal with me and all the things. So fast forward. Now we're at the store, back to where we were in the story. I'm out in the suit. We're doing the thing. People are in, and your parents bring the boys in.
Yep. And it was right back to that night. The 3-year-old would not look at you. He would not go near you. He clung to me. Like, there was a point where I had to hold him for it because he didn't feel safe being on the floor.
And when asked, that's just Joe, right?
Oh, yeah, he knew.
He knew. Made me feel great.
So yeah, but this was not the only negative reaction that we saw that day. There were a lot of people that just didn't like it. Like, remember when we went out front to, like, you were ringing the bell, I was videoing you doing your jolly merry thing to get people inside, welcome, that sort of a thing, and people were ignoring you. They didn't like it. And then inside the store, it was a very mixed response. Some people liked it, some people didn't. The older generation seemed to kind of grab onto it a little bit more, I think. Like, you had way more ladies sitting on your lap that day than children.
Well, I think that's a different episode and conversation altogether right there, Erica. I'm just going to say. But yes, and that kind of mirrors my experience when, I took pictures for Santa.
Yeah.
It was 90% were the screaming, crying children picture as a, quote, memory of, trauma that we were putting on these poor kids. Because think about it. Here is the all-knowing individual of every behavior that you have and all the goodies in life hang on, the list that he carries of how you're acting. And he's large and he's over the top and he's covered in hair. And that's intimidating. And what does he do? He lures you in with candy. Have this candy cane. I mean, it felt a little weird at times, I'm not going to lie. But as much as we just focused on how I terrorized the Albany community, that was a small portion of the reaction of people.
Yeah, we had a really fun day doing it. I mean, we did have some really sweet little babies that got their picture taken with you, and people had fun with it. There were a lot of ridiculous things that were said that were hysterical, and you were just like right in it with them. And that was amazing to see. Like, you were very good at turning on this character.
It was. It was a lot of fun. And we also had some folks bring their pets in.
Yep.
Because we promoted that. Mm-hmm. We are very, dog friendly, pet friendly.
Right.
Store to an extent. Please don't bring an ostrich in. I'm not going to be able to deal with that well at all. But, we took pictures with them and that was fantastic. We had some of our local celebrities stop in.
We
our
did.
Current mayor and our mayor-elect both came in at different times, which was absolutely fantastic. And we love that support. And it was so much fun.
It was an amazing turnout. Like Joe just said, the support from everybody that day just came together. And it was sincerely overwhelming. Like, Joe and I sat down afterwards and had something to eat because that was like the first time we'd eaten that day. And it wasn't like we were exhausted, don't get me wrong, because of everything that had transpired. Not to mention we hosted live music the night prior. Being the ridiculous entrepreneurs that we are, like, you make it work, right? You have to do it. So yes, we were exhausted physically, but it was more of a mental exhaustion that, like, we can't even process the gratitude that we feel for what happened that day.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I was not expecting was, so there I am sitting in the store, dressed as Santa. And in between the meet and greets, I was sitting there, I'd greet people, but, I didn't want to make it weird and just like follow people around. So I would just sit there and I was listening. And people that didn't know us did not necessarily make the connection that Santa Claus is one of the owners of the business.
Right.
So I was able to overhear a lot of conversations that I don't think I normally would have been privy to.
Right.
Because, people don't want to say certain things, in front of employees, owners, whatever. They were just speaking freely amongst themselves. And I have to say, the feedback that I was hearing about our products, the store, the layout, the decorations, Erica, the flow from start to finish, the spicy hot chocolate that we decided to serve as an alternative to the very sugary and sweet hot chocolates that were, being served elsewhere. was also positive and really, really fun to listen to.
Yeah, it was really cool to be able to have that experience, to get that inside scoop. So that was really interesting to listen to the stories that Joe heard. And also like so inspiring. It made me and Joe feel like we're really doing this. What we are feeling is working. It's not just in our heads. It's not made up. Like there's a positive feeling.
It was great. And, from the business end, it was the biggest hot chocolate stroll day that we ever had. So it definitely, the data, the numbers proved the concept of, going above and beyond and doing these other promotional ideas at the same time.
It was the best hot chocolate stroll in the 6 years that we've participated. It was amazing. So thank you everybody who came out to support not only downtown Albany, but our little Fort Orange General Store. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. But now let's talk about the family impact. So you already mentioned that the night before was First Friday. And can you just talk about very quickly, because this will be another episode altogether, what First Friday is in Albany?
Yeah, so it is a night where businesses in Albany participate in like a shopping deal or some sort of incentive, and a lot of businesses host musicians playing. So Metroland now sponsors the First Fridays and organizes all of the musicians and events that are going on. There's art shows that are being held. Like it's an art night.
And a special shout out to Erin Harks from Metroland.
Yes.
She's absolutely phenomenal. Huge proponent of small businesses, the Albany scene, all things Albany and Fort Orange in general. We love you. Thank you so much for all of your support. So we have that event going on Friday night. You already heard about the hot chocolate extravaganza of the morning and the transportation and all of that. But we have 4 kids. I think this was one of the first times where we had to reach out and
ask for some help.
With that.
Yep. And thank goodness we have people that we can reach out to and ask help from. So, my parents graciously took my boys, and luckily Joe's kids were with their other half. So we were able to put on this 2-day event at the store, hosting the live music until later than normal business hours, going home, preparing for the next day. And, there's an impact on our family life. Like we weren't able to have the boys that night, but they were able to come and see this amazing event the next day. So, there's the good and the bad. Like they understand, I think, from seeing us do all of this work, the value.
And it goes a little, deeper than that, because in order to schedule, coverage for the kids, if you will, probably the wrong word, but, to make sure that they're set up, that's a week or two of, looking at calendars and planning out and then reaching out and making sure people are available and can take them. And if it's ever a no, if, other people's lives, which they have, are busy too, and like that's something that we have to pivot on, and we do, on a pretty regular basis. But in this one, we felt that there was way too much going on, and it wouldn't be, good for them. It would be a disservice to them,
right? Because
we knew the level of involvement, that direct involvement that we needed to have for all these events.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have been fun for them whatsoever.
No. Like normally we want to include them into what's happening, like the First Fridays that we host. The boys come down and help out or watch because it's entertaining. The music's great. So when it makes sense, we do want to include them so that they see the behind the scenes, the real life of owning a business and what that means. But like Joe said, this one, it was a little too involved.
Great. Is there anything else, Erica, you want to make sure our listeners know about the Hot Chocolate Stroll of 2025 extravaganza?
Maybe not no, but just to reiterate that we felt so loved that day. And without the community that is down there that surrounds our small business, we wouldn't be where we are. And I can't express how grateful I am for everybody's support. Thank you.
Great. Well, I think that's a natural place to end our podcast for this week. So I'm going to ask our listeners, if you participated in the hot chocolate stroll, can you drop us a comment? Maybe say how great Santa was, and how not awkward any of the interactions were at all, or just your experience. Did you see things differently than we did? Did you notice, the same things we noticed? Was it as fun for you as it was for us? Whatever's on your mind, we would absolutely love to hear it.
Yeah, it means a lot to hear from our listeners and just what you think about the episode too. And if you didn't participate in the hot chocolate stroll, is this something you might think about doing next year? Or any feedback you want to give us, it really means a lot to hear from you.
And if you want to add 17 more ideas that we can wrap into the same day too, why not? Let's do it. Go big or go home, right?
I agree. Let's hear it.
Well, thank you all once again for listening. Thank you for your constant support. And we look forward to sharing our lives with you again next week on
Small Business, Big Life, inside Fort Orange General Store.